This episode of the Door County Podcast is brought to you by KBD Apparel and Graphics. T-shirts, sweatshirts, banners, signs, social media ad, and digital creation. If you are in need and want to get noticed, reach out to KBD Apparel and Graphics. You can find them on Facebook at KBD Apparel.
Welcome to the Door County Podcast. Thanks for pushing play. Now enjoy the show.
Heyo, what's up? Welcome in to the Door County Podcast, coming to you from the Destination Sturgeon Bay Studios. Don't forget to check out May 23rd and 24th, the Sturgeon Bay Fine Art Fair, and also the Sturgeon Bay Farmers Market fires off May 30th, Saturday, May 30th. Don't forget about that. Go to sturgeonbay.net for anything that you need to find and anything you need to know that's happening in Sturgeon Bay. All right, everybody, welcome into the show. We have an awesome episode for you today. We visited with Sam, from the director at Crossroads in Sturgeon Bay. And if you're local, you probably know what Crossroads is. It's a nature preserve. It's free to go to and walk around. A lot of the schools and boys and girls clubs and employment programs and all of that kind of stuff. All those kind of people go there frequently and walk around and learn stuff. It's an awesome place to go. I've taken my kids to Crossroads a million times. Okay, not a million, but you get it. A bunch of times. You can just go and enjoy nature and touch grass, as people like to say these days. Get your kids, off the screens once in a while. Take them down there. Go for a walk. If you're a photographer, go take some pictures. You don't even have to be a photographer to do that. Just go down there with your cell phone, which has cameras these days that are amazing. Take pictures of your family. So that interview is coming up here in a few minutes, and there's a lot to learn about Crossroads that you might be surprised about. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I've lived here my whole life, been to Crossroads a ton of times, and I learned a lot about the place and what all happens and goes on there. And I also learned how you can help out. Even if you don't have a lot of money, you just want to attend one event a year, like 35, 40 bucks will help them once a year. So that episode's coming up with Sam Koyen here in a little bit. So let's talk about Memorial Day. Memorial Day weekend is coming up very fast. If you're listening to this, you could be on your way here for Memorial Day weekend, or it is Memorial Day weekend. Either way, let's not forget what Memorial Day weekend is actually all about. It's about remembering the troops, and that is very important. Most people, correlate Memorial Day weekend to, hey, half a day Friday, Monday off. This is true, but let's remember why we are allowed to do that. Now, in Sturgeon Bay here, we have the 28th annual Sturgeon Bay Fine Art Fair, Saturday, May 23rd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sunday, May 24th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It is in Martin Park. It's a juried art fair featuring over 80 artists from across the Midwest, showcasing mediums like sculpture, glass, painting, and jewelry. It includes live entertainment, children's activities, and 7 different local food trucks. That is very exciting. I'm sure all the art is great and beautiful, but the 7 different local food trucks as well. Don't forget, cooking is also an art. Free admission, dogs are welcome. You can view the full event, and the information can be found on the Destination Sturgeon Bay website. Also, this weekend, we have the 33rd annual Door County Lighthouse Passport Days. The date and time for that is Friday, May 22nd through Sunday, May 24th. It's in various locations, sponsored by the Door County Maritime Museum in Sturgeon Bay. It's an exclusive opportunity to tour up to 11 historic peninsula lighthouses, many of which are only open to the public during this special event weekend. Boat, trolley, and self-guided tours depart out of Sturgeon Bay and other local ports. So You can find route and ticket details on the Door County Maritime Museum website. Also, a few other things going on: commemorative Memorial Day services, Sturgeon Bay Fire Department ceremony. That's Monday, May 25th at 10 a.m. at the Sturgeon Bay Fire Station. It's a traditional honor ceremony featuring guest speakers from Door County Veteran Services, a reading of fallen local veterans' names dating back to the Civil War, a rifle salute by American Legion Post 51, and the playing of taps. There is also a big live music lineup this weekend happening all over the county. I'm probably going to say this name wrong, but Nathan Grajeda live Friday, May 22nd from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Door Peninsula Winery. 7,000 apart Friday, May 22nd, 7 p.m. Cherry Lane's Arcade Bar. They are a high energy pop duo. David Freeborg live Saturday, May 23rd from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Door Peninsula Winery. He does 80s rock, pop, and blues. Briga Plates and Pours Saturday, May 23rd. Local rotation acts like Benny and the DB duo. And also Affinado duo, if I said that right, Saturday, May 23rd at 2 p.m. at Parallel 44 and Door 44 Vineyard. A lot happening this Memorial Day weekend here in Sturgeon Bay and Door County. Just go to sturgeonbaynet.com. Also find net, and also find Destination Door County's website. Anything you need, any kind of entertainment you want, it's going to be happening. I just want everybody to be safe, have an excellent Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully, this Wisconsin weather cooperates with us and we don't have, like rain, snow, hail, 49 degrees to 81 degrees like we had this last week, all at the same time. Just give us some decent spring Door County weather. I mean, I'll take 55 to 60 degrees with no wind and the sun out. It is perfect hooded sweatshirt weather. And depending how you run, it could even be hooded sweatshirt and shorts weather. Get warm during the day, peel that hooded sweatshirt off, put it back on as evening approaches. Or vice versa. Maybe you're a jeans person. You throw them jeans on, hooded sweatshirt, gets hot, take that off, have a nice t-shirt underneath, and then the hoodie goes back on later. Also, a great weekend for camping. There's campgrounds everywhere in Door County, and those fires and the s'mores, I can just taste them already. Anyway, I don't want to take any more time away. You can find this information at sturgeonbay.net and on the Destination Door County website as well. If you're in Door County, whether you live here or not, as we are seeing some comments now coming through on some of the platforms stating that people are from, Illinois. I'm seeing some comments from Minnesota about how they like to come up here a couple times a year to Door County, and they seem to be enjoying the podcast. So that is awesome to hear. Thank you very much for tuning in. And come check out some new places when you come up. Check out a new place every time you guys come here. And if you're local, I greatly appreciate you listening as well. You probably know most of this information that I am telling you if you're local, but if not, hey, you learned something. And thanks for tuning in. Anyway, back to if you're not local and you don't know what Crossroads is and you're coming to Door County this Memorial Day weekend and you want to have a little getaway, take a little trip down to Crossroads by Big Creek. It's right off the highway across the highway from the YMCA. Take yourself on a nice little walk through nature and take your kids. If you have kids, take them along. You can bring your dog. It's dog friendly. It's great. Walk at your own leisure. There's tons of trails there. Just take some time, touch grass, put your devices on silent or airplane mode, vibrate, whatever you want to do, and enjoy some outdoors. And if you don't know, Crossroads at Big Creek, it's a 200-acre nonprofit learning center and nature preserve. It's located at 2041 Michigan Street, Sturgeon Bay. The Collins Learning Center building itself will be closed over Memorial Day weekend, but the property is all open. It's open 24/7. You can hike during the day, you can hike during the night. Uh, the main campus, they call it campus, features the riparian corridor, an extensive system of wooded trails and footbridges, 24-hour accessible public restrooms, and a free electric vehicle charging station. So, anybody out there with electric vehicles, there you go. Go check out Crossroads and enjoy some outdoors and nature. Hopefully, the weather cooperates. So, we have a really awesome interview with the director of Crossroads, Sam, and I don't want to waste any more time. We are going to jump into the interview so you can learn a whole bunch of things, because I learned a whole bunch of things. And here we go with Sam from Crossroads. All right, everybody, welcome into the Door County Podcast. Today I am with Sam from Crossroads. How's it going, Sam? Why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. Thanks for having me. I am Samantha Koyen. I am the Executive Director over at Crossroads at Big Creek, and really thrilled to be here.
Me too, because I love Crossroads, and a lot of people do. And there's a lot of people that don't know about everything that you have going on.
Yeah.
It's not just a woods that you walk through. There's so much more to it. I'm excited to hear more about it. I've lived here my whole life. I don't know everything about it.
Yeah.
So let's just jump right in. Like, what is the idea of Crossroads, and how is it beneficial for the community and the kids in the community? And just go to town. Let's tell some people.
Sure. So Crossroads' mission is inspire environmental stewardship in learners of all ages and all backgrounds. And we do that. We have a nature center, which I think everyone is kind of familiar with, that really unique building that we have right next to our parking lot. That's our nature center and learning center. It's named after the Collins, who are an amazing family here in town. And then we have about 200 plus acres of natural areas for hiking. And a big part of what we do is we offer programming. We think of different ways to engage with people about nature and how to get them involved and caring about nature. And then we also work with over 30 plus other organizations supporting their programming. So that includes school districts. This last Friday, we had 300 plus children over at the Learning Center, and we were working with some of our partners. We had, I think, a total of 19 different partners that went through the Nature Center, and we offered different programs for kids to learn about different topics, from bugs to macroinvertebrates, which are essentially little water bugs, to we had solar flares that you could see with the Door Peninsula Astronomical Society. It was a really good time. So we have our school programs, and then we have public-facing programs, and those can range from traditional like talks to our luminary that hikes in the fall and winter. Also, we have a new storybook walk that we just put out. And so you don't even have to hang out with us. You can actually walk the trails. Each week this summer, those topics will change. And so we have the first week, I think, is dragonflies. And the book is Are You a Dragonfly? It's a really good time. And on Thursday afternoons during the summer, we have Mike Grimm, who used to work for the Nature Conservancy, and he's going to talk about dragonflies. So we have like tons of different ways for people to get involved, and tons of other organizations who work in collaboration. So you can engage with not just Crossroads, but, you know, Mike used to work over at the Nature Conservancy. As I said, the Door Peninsula Astronomical Society. There's just so many good things going on.
There is. And I want to touch on a couple things right away before we get too deep. It is free to go to Crossroads. Like, you don't have to go for an event, but there's plenty of events you should go to. But you can just go, like, if you're not from here and come up to Door County and are looking for a little escape.
Yep.
You can just go park and walk for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Around a nice, the trails are awesome. There's little streams. I just want people to know that, because as I go on with this podcast, it's gaining a lot of like listeners, and I'm noticing people are commenting like on Spotify from Chicago and other places now.
Sure.
A lot of the locals know, but if you're coming up here and looking for a getaway, go take a walk, bring your coffee, go to Crossroads and learn about the place. Or
if you want to go out at night. So unlike a lot of the parks up here or other nature center areas, we are open 24/7. And that's because, again, we work with the Door Peninsula Astronomical Society. So our preserve is open 24/7 to hiking. I mean, however you want to explore. I know some people who run at night, for instance, which seems very daring. I have terrible night vision. That seems like a nightmare, but good for them.
It does seem like that's how a horror movie starts right there.
But there are people who go out at night. And one of the beauties of being here in Door County is we have the Aurora Borealis that shows up. It feels like almost all the time.
Yeah, like where's that all coming from all of a sudden?
It's a constant thing, and it's super exciting. And so our preserves, again, if you're up here and you're going, oh, I really want to see the auroras, there are certain areas that we have that are a little bit darker. We're still within the city limits, so it's not that far. I mean, it's about a third of Door County's population lives within the city of Sturgeon Bay, and we're within the city limits, so we're like less than a mile. You can go and find. It's not super dark, so it's not a true dark sky or anything like that, but it's dark enough that if the auroras are really active, you can actually see them, which is amazing.
I never really thought of that. That's another cool thing about Crossroads. It is kind of like right in the city, but not. You know, it's like right off the highway.
Yeah.
It's right there. And going back to the night thing, I bet you it's pretty cool on a very moonlit night to where you kind of get that light from the moon to walk through there.
It's super cool. So the other thing that we offer during the summer is we do bat hikes. And we have a little, essentially reads the decibels at which bats communicate and brings it down so you can actually hear them clicking in the rhythms. It's super cool. It's a really fun time. It sounds like Mario Kart. And it's a really awesome device. But we offer these hikes, and a lot of people don't even realize we have an ample firefly population. So if you go out to any of the fields, also you'll start seeing fireflies. It's really cool to be outside at night because you don't think about how much wildlife there is that's moving around, and there's a ton, especially again here in the city limits. It's amazing.
And a lot of kids these days don't. I grew up in the country, on a farm, but a lot of kids these days don't get the chance to go out in nature, and fireflies are cool.
They're so cool.
They're just little LED lights floating around, and you're like, what's that? What's it? And sometimes I had to explain to my kids, that's a bug.
Yeah.
No way.
It's super cool. And then even this time of year, right? So if you're going out at dusk or whatever, we have a whole bunch of different wetland systems around the main campus, but also as you go down towards, if you haven't been to Crossroads, we're right off the main highway, kind of across from the YMCA. As you approach the canal, we still have property that goes along there, and that's what we call our Cove Preserve, aptly named. And then we have another property that's called our Ida Bay campus that's kind of up on the hill, but no matter where you're at, you can actually hear frogs. So at dusk this time of year, it's when you really hear the switch of what's going on. And that Cove Preserve, what's really unique about that is if you're an avid birder, you can get some really cool shorebirds. I just recently heard my first bittern of the season, which is really exciting. They have a really weird doing as their sound. It's really weird. It's just amazing. So if you're into different things, or if you just want to learn, we definitely want people to come join us.
Birdwatching. You bring up so many good points. Birdwatching, that's an excellent place for that.
My husband's an avid birder. Saturday for our public-facing Discovery Day, we ended up having, I think, 7 or 8 different species of warbler, which are neotropical bird species that are coming up from South America. They're coming through right now, this time of year in spring, and they're stunning. They're in their breeding colors. So they'll have these beautiful yellows. Some will have more green tints to them. They're just these stunning, really tiny, tiny birds. And this time of year, there's only a small window in which you can see them, because the moment we have leaf out, it is near impossible to see these guys. They're so fast and so small, it's super frustrating.
I don't know a lot of different species of birds. I'm just your average. My fiance has a ton of bird feeders out in the front window. So cardinals, blue jays, orioles and stuff. Orioles, I think, are here now.
Yep.
And they're not around super long, are they?
So they'll push through. Sometimes they'll breed in this area. We had last year a pair of breeding orioles, and they tend to like willowy habitat. But again, everyone always thinks, because they're really iconic, because who doesn't like a bird that eats sweets, right?
I know. Peanut butter jelly or whatever you put out there, a little mixture. And they're very vibrant. They're that neon orange. Yeah.
They're super cool. And again, we've also started having our hummingbirds are pushing through now. Around here, we only get our ruby-throated. So the males have that very iconic ruby throat. The females are a little bit more drab. Still fantastic looking, but just a little more drab.
I always wondered that.
Sure.
It's not really off topic, but why it should be the other way around. The male species always have all the nice colors. Ducks,
It's because nice colors oftentimes are associated with an accumulation of things that could be toxic. And so females want to rear young and raise young, so they don't need to be showy. Males are looking for females to mate with.
Oh.
And so then they have to prove their physical fitness by surviving, sometimes poisoning themselves, which is why you get very vibrant colors. And then there's other species. Birds are fascinating as a collective whole. We have a lot of very cool species that push through, but seeing specific mating behaviors, oftentimes it's a testament to physical fitness, which is very funny because it's almost opposite in humans, right? But it is a thing, right? And so they're trying to prove that their genetics should be carried forward.
Well, see, I just learned something. I always wondered that.
You'll see it in fish, too. It's pretty much the males are trying to prove that they are suitable for breeding. So it's it's a cool phenomenon.
It is. Okay, so let's get back to Crossroads.
Sure.
Because it's important. How can people help Crossroads? Before we get to all the awesome events, because there's something called Trails and Ales I didn't know about.
Yeah.
So how can people help Crossroads?
Crossroads, as you shared, we are free and open to the public. Almost all of our events, other than our 2 major fundraising events, are free. So for a very, very nice price for the public, it's free, but it's very expensive for the organization. And so the best way to support us is either through donations, volunteering, or participating in one of our fundraising events. So we have 2 fundraising events, our Trails and Ales program, which ends up, that takes place in September, and then our trail run, which occurs in June. So it's coming up here, June 13th. And those are our big fundraisers. Other than that, everything we do is free and open to the public.
Can people still sign up for the trail, the 2K, 5K, 10K?
Yep, people can sign up. So you can sign up up until the day of.
Oh, okay.
So you can even sign up the day of, but you aren't guaranteed a shirt. We have someone awesome printing our shirts. The design has now been released. It is a black shirt, and it has birches on it, and they change every year. So we have some runners who try to do it every year, and so they've had 16 years worth of shirts. One year we ended up doing bandanas during the COVID time, but it's like one of the coolest things. It's actually Door County's first trail run, and we've been doing it, as I said, 16 years now. It's a very cool event. Everyone can participate. So we have a 2K, so you can do a running or walking, and that tends to be where we see a lot of our families participate. And then you can have the 5K, and that's where we start seeing more of the competitive runners. And then we have our 10K, and that we do require everyone to run just because we want to be there for when people finish.
Yeah.
And it is a chipped race. So the nice thing is you get your times and they are recorded. So that's also a really big deal if you want to go on and run other races.
That's cool.
You can use your timing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know we had talked once before, and if there's some snakes in there.
Yeah.
And you don't see them all the time, but that would definitely improve my time.
Honestly, the snakes are very cool. So we have... Again, being a nature center, we have a lot of volunteer friends who show up in our building. Snakes sometimes are one. And in particular, we get these really amazing red-bellied snake, are pretty common. You also will see a fox snake. You'll see a whole bunch of different types of snakes. None of them will really hurt you or anything. They just seem a little creepy if you aren't a big fan of snakes.
You might not even really see them because snakes around here they're not going to attack you. They don't want you to see them. They're going to.
They pretty much just want to sun themselves.
Yeah.
The sole purpose of most snakes around here is you will find them because they're out basking. So they're looking to gather heat from the sun and then go on with their merry way. Yeah. And we love snakes. I think they're very cool.
My kids like snakes.
Yeah.
So.
They're one of we had a snake with us over the winter. He had come out of hibernation, or it's not true hibernation, but we're going to call it hibernation. He'd come out of hibernation, and so we had to keep him through, and he was released because it's been warm enough, and he was great. He's a red-bellied snake. Ate a lot of slugs.
I have one other question before we get back to the run or walk that's coming up. I don't know how to ask this question. Can people, let's say there's rabbits or something, and they're a bunch of them, and they're terrorizing your garden. If you trap them, can you go release them there or not? Because I just want people to be clear on that.
Sure. Technically, no. That is monitored by the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. Okay. The DNR. They don't want you moving animals around. A big reason is the spread of potential disease and pathogens.
True.
If you think about, I think all of us know about bird flu. I think it pops up frequently enough that we
Yep.
all remember that
Yep.
it's communal diseases can spread very quickly. And so that tends to not be allowed. The other thing is, weirdly with rabbits, is they can get really stressed out and they actually can die in transit. And that's just a whole side story and side note, but rabbits are not as resilient as you'd think they should be.
Right. Well, I was just saying in general, people shouldn't get the idea like raccoons or something, whatever, if they trap them, probably get a hold of the DNR. The Crossroads is not a dumping ground for that. So.
No, and it can be a really hard thing, especially like this time of year. A lot of animals are reproducing. So even if you went to go release them, you are also subjecting their young
Yep.
to losing a parent, which for us, you'd think, oh, there's another parent around. For most mammals, that's not the case. If they lose their mom, they're done for. The other thing is, when it comes to just moving animals too, is our preserves, we do allow dog hiking and walking, and they have to be unleashed. You have to clean up after them because we do have a lot of dog walkers. But it is something where we don't want to have a displaced animal who's really stressed out,
Right.
because you can have unfortunate interactions at that point.
Yep. And then
Yeah.
you're just messing with all of the animals that live there. You're messing with them. And like you said, the disease. And so
Yeah.
I just wanted people to be clear on that because, I mean, I know there's a lot of people in town that will trap and go just release in the country.
Yeah.
So just don't do that there. Let's jump back into this walk coming up.
Sure.
Because that sounds like a huge event.
It's huge.
I mean, a lot of people.
It changes year to year. So on average, we have about 300 to 400 people show up. And then also plus family members. And it's a really good time, a lot of fun. If you're a morning person, it's a really great event. So the run, we released the 10K runners first. I hope you guys all realize 10K is a pretty far distance. That's why they get the first takeoff. So at 8 o'clock, they are released to start running, and they start their journey. And then we wait probably like 5-10 minutes, depending on how it's going with flow. And then we line up the 5K, and then we do the 2K. And so that way it's staged very nicely. Again, if you think about the category of runners, 10K runners are the people who I aspire to be that I will never be. They are amazing. And again, we welcome runners of all backgrounds. There are some people who I watch run the 10K and I am blown away by. And then there are people who I see run the 10K who I have deep admiration for. They have like different physical fitness. And then when we get kind of to the 2K, that's where you see families walking with strollers. And that's why, again, they kind of self-sort.
Yep. You don't want to do that. You don't want the families walking to start and then get run over by.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the 10Kers can take off. Again, they're amazing. They are runners who I will never be a 10Ker.
People that are runners, I tell you, their motivation is
amazing.
Off the charts.
It's amazing. It's a really fun event. So they take off. And so at the end of the race, so the end and start, it's kind of a circle. They show up at where we started. And at the end of the race, we have ice cream sundaes. So they're ice cream with granola and cherries. And the runners get prizes from different entities and different people. So we have Shartner's Market is donating syrup as one of the prizes. We have Max and D's Bees, I think is what they call their company. They're a local beekeeper group around here. They're amazing, very nice, very knowledgeable. If you know Max Martin, he's amazing, knows bees very well. They are donating honey as one of the prizes. We have Logan Creek Soap as they're donating soap as some of the prizes. We have, it's such a feel-good event, and it's so much fun. And my daughter, right when she was born, it was her first event at Crossroads. And so she was less than a year old, and we had a volunteer who was over 100. And so our span for volunteers, as I joke, my daughter wasn't doing anything. But we had volunteers who were less than a year old and over 100. And it's just such a fun event.
And that's one of the major fundraisers?
Yep.
Okay, so that's good because you have a lot of volunteers there that donate their time, which keeps Crossroads going. Not everything is free, so it's good to see an event like that get so many people to keep a place like Crossroads running. It does so many things. Crossroads does so many things for kids. I don't know how many times a year it's a Crossroads field trip on their calendar.
And it's not just kids, which is,
right.
We work really closely with our local learning and retirement. We do a lot of stuff with more senior members of our community, as well as just adults coming through. So we have guided hikes on every Wednesday. Today, we actually have a special guided hike that we're doing. There's just a lot of things that we try to meet everyone where they're at. So as I said, we have a whole bunch of different different things from our kids programming, which is kind of, it feels like a cornerstone, right? So this summer we have Boys and Girls Club 3 times a week for at least 6 weeks. We work with Doorway to Learning, which is a local childcare center here in Sturgeon Bay. But then we also work with adults. And so again, it's really amazing to be able to interact with all ages in our community and do things that are more inspirational activities, such as crafts or luminary lit hikes where they aren't getting a direct, like, hey, learn about this bird, to doing bat hikes where we're talking about what kind of bat species, or bird hikes where we're learning about the different birds, where that's like more concrete learning. It's really great.
It's also a good place to go and take some pictures of like family photographers. You can just walk like into the field, get awesome backgrounds, and that's really awesome too. I don't know if many people think of that, but it's like free. You don't have to set anything up, and it's beautiful. You can pick trees, you can pick a nice open field, like by the buildings,
the amazing bridges. I mean, there's like I don't know, a joke when senior photos and Sturgeon Bay starts sharing the senior photos. I'm like, I recognize the backdrop of like 90% of these photos. It's great. It's an awesome place to be. Like, it's an awesome place to support. It's such a good place.
It's really good for the community, and it's kind of right in town. What other events does Crossroads have coming up throughout the summer here? If you want to go through some of them, because like I said, there's a lot.
There's a ton. So the biggest thing that I'd say for anyone, check out our events. We have a calendar. You can see we try to program 6 months in advance. So depending on when you're scheduling a trip out here, if you're visiting or if you're a resident, you can kind of look and see what we schedule out. We have throughout the summer. So we have our storybook walk. As I said, those will be rotating every week. And we have weekly themes. So the first 3 weeks are like dragonflies, bees, water, and we have kids' books associated with each of those along our ADA accessible trail. And then the Nature Center will have what we call tinkers. So they're going to be more self-guided things to explore different characteristics. So I'm going to pick on the dragonflies because that's our first week. We have these like little plastic bugs, and we learn about how dragonflies' mouths work, because dragonflies are like the most successful predator in the world. And so like that's super cool. And so we get to learn about how dragonflies' mouths work. Then on Thursdays, we have, as I said, a featured speaker from around pretty much the county. They'll be deep diving into what characteristics of the week are. And then on Mondays, we also have the Door County Library will be reading the children's book out loud outside, which is like, I think, a really fun way to get a story read to you. So that's kind of, and then Wednesdays, of course, are guided hikes. And so we always try and gear that for who's on those hikes.
Okay, so what else do we have on that list over there?
So we have, as I said, so that's kind of like the framework during the summer. But then what is really nice is starting kind of September-ish is when we start really thinking about fall, because who doesn't like a good weather in fall?
It's a great place to go in the fall. I mean,
it's perfect
all year round.
Yeah.
But
so fall, we have our other big fundraiser, which is our Trails and Ales. And that is, I think it's September 12th this year. That sounds right. This is our 3rd year doing it. We always had just the Door County breweries. This year, we're actually opening it up to Kewaunee County breweries. All the breweries show up. They have 3 or 4 different beers that they bring with them. And they have stations along the trail. And then you show up, you get your little ticket and your little tasting glass. And the tasting glass changes year to year. So that's also collectible. And you can go and taste all these different delicious beers. If that's how you choose to support us, that's also a really fun event.
Yep.
After that, we kind of launch into celebrating the season. So we do a pumpkin carving night for the community. And the week after the pumpkin carving night, we then have our first luminary lit hike, which is lit by the jack-o'-lanterns that people have carved. And that is one of the best, I think, especially for families.
Yep.
We hand out different goodies from different organizations within the community. So last year we had like toothbrushes, stickers. There's just a whole bunch of different stuff we hand out. And the kids have a blast. They show up in costume. Also, who doesn't like a good jack-o'-lantern lit hike?
Right? That sounds awesome.
And again, it's totally free and open to the public. And then as we go into the winter, we once a month have a luminary lit hike. And then we also have our trails get groomed for skiing, snowshoeing, which we have available to borrow. Again, free. That's also a really fun time. It's one of the things that we always joke every winter. People ask us when we're going to start grooming, and we have to say, whenever there's snow.
Right.
And this year was really tricky. And of course, the time we got the most amount of snow, we couldn't groom throughout it, and it just had to melt. So hopefully next winter will be perfect.
Yeah, this last winter, It feels like we got more snow than we have been, but we got a lot of them annoying 1-inch snowstorms, like every 3 days.
Yep.
Just enough to start the stupid snowblower.
Yep.
But really not enough to start the snowblowers.
Yeah, it was like a terrible, it was this winter, it was like warm, right? So I don't know, I have a 4-year-old and he liked to remind me, he thought we were going to have a white Christmas because we had snow right before Christmas. And then right around Christmas, we had a few warm days and all the snow melted and we had a green Christmas, which is like a nightmare. And then we got like a little bit of snow and it kept kind of doing this ebb and flow, which is a nightmare for trail grooming. So if anyone's a snowmobiler, I'm sure they also remember how miserable this year was.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it decided, like, what was it? Was it March was when we had that giant snowstorm that was like,
it was 34 inches. It was, I think it was March.
And it was insane. And then we went from that, we had like 2-week reprieve, and then we had that torrential rain and massive flooding. Oh, this is a fun time of year.
Right.
So again, we have all these things that a lot of our programs and what we offer is always dependent on weather.
That flooding was crazy. How was it down at Crossroads? I bet you that big creek was full.
It was very full. We have these very iconic bridges, so people walk across them. They're really fun. We have the one bridge has this like massive boardwalk associated. It's beautiful.
Yep.
Throughout the summer, people always go, well, why is it so built up? This spring was a really good reminder of why.
Yep.
It was so flooded. We ended up having to cancel a few of our programs because we really didn't want to get people too close to the creek. And for locals or anyone who know the area, the Sucker Run for Big Creek is a really big, iconic thing. And it just so happened to coincide during that massive flooding. So there's a lot of information when people are asking us about how the Sucker Run was this year. We really don't fully know because the water was scouring. And so we really couldn't see it wasn't clear enough to see were the fish in the water during the flooding. Like, when did the runs really start going? What did this look like? So we had a Sucker Run. It seemed like a very small or polite one, I would say. Yeah. And we don't know really how it timed with everything due to that flooding.
Do smelt come up into there?
Nope. So I think historically I've heard people talk about smelt originally used to go up there. So smelts are a non-native fish, right, to Lake Michigan. And one of the things that was introduced is that's why we have salmon, to eat the smelt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so salmon also are not native, but they're part of controlling the smelt populations. We have, right now in Big Creek, what we've seen is we have pike spawning. So pike, if you're ever interested in how pike spawn, they're fascinating. They tend to like weird grassy flood areas. So this year was a great year for pike, northern pike. And they, again, road ditches is where sometimes you'll see them spawning. So they'll go up and, again, more of the grassy beds. And then when we talk about suckers, they tend to like that like gravelly, rocky.
Up
like,
under, kind of. They like to kind of go up under.
Harder soils. Yeah. Like they like, and then the run is gone. And so like now this time of year, you can end up finding fry within the water. So there's these little tiny fish that are now going out to Lake Michigan to go live out their lives as they're going downstream. It's very fascinating. Yeah.
It's interesting. Learn something again. Are there any other events that you want to talk about? Or do we pretty much hit them all?
I think we pretty much hit. I mean, there's always stuff going on. I think every week we have at least 2 or 3 public-facing programs. As I said, we do different talks. And our topics can vary wildly, but again, they're usually environmental themed. And then also we work collaboratively with other organizations. So like Door County Master Gardeners do a lot of programming at the Learning Center. Same thing with Door County Wild Ones. Like all these different organizations have different talks. So if you at all are curious, if you're thinking, it would be fun rather than going out and doing what we usually do, I would definitely check out our website because there is something always going on.
Is the website the best place, or is Facebook? What's update? Probably the website. I mean,
our website is pretty much is always right. So if you go to crossroads@bigcreek.org, that's the best way. We try to keep our Facebook updated, but Facebook, it feels like the algorithm sometimes kicks us out in a weird way. I'd say the website at this point is the best way of checking information, or just stopping by the Learning Center or giving us a call. The nice thing is, as we progress into the summer, we do offer like random guided hikes or different things based on different natural phenomena that may be occurring. So there's some stuff that we don't even know that we're going to offer until it's happening.
Yeah, so follow the website.
Yeah, follow our website for sure.
And then, do you guys have walking maps by any chance
Yes.
of Crossroads?
Yeah, so we have walking maps as well as at our trailheads. For those who are a little bit more techie, you can also use a QR code and look at a map as you go hiking on your phone. Or for those of you who really want to pre-plan your visit, you are welcome to, if you go on our website, you can also find maps of our preserves.
Okay.
At the top of all of our maps, I believe there is an address, like a physical address that you can put into Google, because I know I'm the type of person, I have to rely on my Google Maps.
People need to visit Crossroads, and it sounds like you still have time to get into this trail run walk.
Yeah.
And that is a major way to support.
Yes, it is a major way.
And what does it cost to register for that?
So I can't remember when the early bird pricing stops, but so it also depends on age. So it's $35, which is a screaming deal. For, I think, day of or after early bird switches to $40, and that's the max that you pay. For kids under 7, I believe is free, and for people over 70, it is free. So again, you'll notice a theme with us. We do a lot of stuff free.
Yep. I'm just trying to say, because 35 or $40 once a year, you can go have a day. You're helping out a place like Crossroads, without really thinking that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
But you are. This is one of their biggest fundraisers. And then the Trails and Ales one, too. It sounds like, if you just go drop $40 once a year, I know gas prices, all this other stuff is high, but we want to keep Crossroads around. That's a simple way to do it. You don't have to be a billionaire. You don't have to drop $10,000. I mean, unless you're listening and you're rich and you want to.
I would love that. If that is you, give me a call.
Maybe they'll name a trail after you.
Yeah. I mean, the options are endless. We're really, really thankful for our community, and we're really thankful to be able to do what we do. And it's only possible because of our supporters. It's so great. Like, it is one of the things that I love most being the director over there is being able to see like the amount of people who they find their connection to nature, whatever that is. Yeah. Sometimes it's a plant, sometimes it's fish, sometimes it's a bird, sometimes it's just a general experience. And it is like some of the coolest things I wouldn't do what I do without having had that connection made for me. It's awesome.
I suppose I was going to say it probably doesn't even feel like a job, but as the director, you probably have a lot of paperwork and emails.
I have way too much paperwork, but it is one of the things where, again, it's so great. Like right now we have an art show of different fish and aquatic scapes from Sturgeon Bay High School and Middle School that's up, and it'll be coming down soon. But if that's what is around my office while I'm working, like that is 10 out of 10 amazing.
You know what they should do? They should find like a really big, wide tree and build you a treehouse office.
Yes.
That is up in the air.
Yes.
With glass walls.
Yes.
So that would be the coolest office ever.
Yeah.
Right at Crossroads. You're just like...
Perfect. No notes. Yes. I hope everyone hears that.
That would be awesome.
I mean, again, also that building though, like it's so cool to be able to be in a space where people want to learn, and also people want to teach. So I don't know how many times I'm in that, our building, learning and retirement will have different speakers who come through. And it's just truly fascinating. I feel like I'm somebody who really enjoys learning, and I sometimes have to be like, oh no, I'm supposed to focus on emails. Back to it.
Right. That's a good space in there for presenting and presentations. And it's not just a building. When you walk in there, it's like, whoa, I didn't expect this.
Yeah. We have a fish wall where you can see all sorts of different fish. They are very skewed because people have donated them. And so they oftentimes are like the largest versions of those fish that you will see. But we have a whole bunch of different types of fish that you can see and learn about. And then downstairs, in our kind of basement area, we have different like scenes that you might see in Door County along with wildlife. And it is probably like, I don't know how many kids just want to go down because they like fell in love with like the taxidermy bear down there or something, It's just so cool.
All right. Well, I think we covered a lot of information here. I would recommend to go to, I'll let you say the website again.
Sure. It is crossroads@bigcreek.org.
And that's where you can find everything Crossroads, all these cool little events like learning walks, or you can just show up. You don't have to learn anything. There's so many things that happen there that I don't think everybody realizes, but check out this run coming up on
Yeah.
June 13th.
June 13th.
That's a way you can support, and then Trails and Ales, and don't forget to bring the kiddies out for near Halloween.
Yeah.
For the pumpkin carving and just a lot of stuff to do. You know, some people say there's nothing to do in Door County. A lot of the locals say that. Well, they're wrong.
There is ample amounts, and it is something that we're very excited to be part of this community. And, you know, we hope to see you guys out there.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Get out and touch grass, as they say.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Sam, for taking time to do this. And I hope everybody just comes and you get another 100 people to this walk.
Yeah, it would be so exciting.
All right. And that was Sam from Crossroads. Thanks for stopping by. All right. Well, I hope you learned something there, because I know I did. A huge shout out to Sam for joining us and doing an episode here. A little behind the scenes. We actually did this recording twice. The first time I went to Crossroads, and I don't know if it was a combination of equipment or the little office or the whatever happened, but there was such a bad echo, and I would have spent a bunch of time editing and probably could have gotten rid of it, but Sam was gracious enough to do it again, and it was awesome. She knocked it out of the park. She's such a busy person, being the director of Crossroads. You know, it might sound awesome and everything with being on a nature preserve, but I mean, the paperwork and the emails, and I saw she has two, three monitors on her desk in her office, which means you're definitely multitasking. So huge shout out to Sam. Thanks for coming back and doing it again. I wanted to get this out there about Crossroads and how you can help out, because I always wondered how they did it. You know, it's free. You can just go there whenever you want. I didn't even know that you could go that night. A night walk sounds pretty cool there. You know, a little headlamp, whatever, walking through here. I grew up on the farm. I love the sound of night in the country. The frogs and the crickets and whatever else is out there chirping. Man, sleep like a baby. This time of year, windows cracked open. Yeah, it gets a little chilly in your house, but you sleep better when it's a little chilly. So, a little behind the scenes there. Not everything always goes great, and greatly appreciate Sam. Hope you learned a lot about Crossroads. Hope you can come out and enjoy Crossroads at Big Creek. Maybe help out. Maybe volunteer if you need to volunteer for something. I know that a lot of times throughout high school, you need to have a certain amount of volunteer hours. What a great way to use that up, huh? Go out to Crossroads and help out there. Sure beats being in an office or some other things. So it was awesome. Go check out Crossroads. And in the meantime, if you're just coming across this show, you can find us in many places. But first, I would like to tell you about another business that is very important when it comes to technology. DC Life Tech. Technology is life. DC Life Tech is here to help you. Are your emails not syncing? Is your printer not working? Does your device, did your device or computer stop working? Don't panic. DC Life Tech can transfer all your data to a new device if you need a new device. They might be able to even just find something wrong with your old device. Maybe it's something simple. Maybe it's overloaded. Who knows? Don't worry, not all is lost. Sometimes you may need a new device. They can help you with that as well. Fraud is also running rampant. It's everywhere. I deal with this myself. Be proactive and ask DC Life Tech about fraud and virus protection for just as little as $99 a year. Occasionally, they can remote into your computer and fix the problem without even you having to leave your house. DC Life Tech, you can have peace of mind with technology. Be confident, be proactive, and let DC Life Tech help empower your tech journey. DC Life Tech is located in the Fairfield building on the corner of 3rd Avenue and Michigan Street in downtown Sturgeon Bay. All right. Thank you, DC Life Tech. Make them an important part of your life. get in touch and see how they can help you with any of your technology needs. It does not have to be annoying, which tech can be sometimes. All right. So now, wherever you're listening, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever, there's a bunch of places you can find us. And I don't want you to miss out on anything. If you're listening to the audio, I don't want you to miss out on any video stuff coming up. So here is where you can find the show, and we'll see you next time.
Like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss out. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at Door County Pod and on YouTube at Door County Podcast. Feel free to email the show with stories, questions, or if you are a business owner and would like to see what it takes to be a part of the show, doorcountypod@gmail.com.